welcome back to the channel. My name is Nicole with morningchores.com, and today we're discussing a beginner's guide to indoor plants. I thought this would be a great video to do because we're heading into the winter months and there's not a whole lot you can do outside, at least not where I live. We got our first couple of snows, so the outdoor stuff is coming to a bittersweet ending, but now we can head indoors and do some things in there. So I thought this would be a great time to do an introduction to indoor plants. So if you're a person who doesn't really have a lot of indoor plants or none at all, then this video is great for you. If you're someone who does have indoor plants but you're still kind of learning, then this video is also great for you because I'm going to share some fun tips and tricks on how to start your journey with indoor plants and then also how to take care and maintain them. It's really important when you're starting something new to start at the beginner's level. Start small, start easy, and then build your way up from there. So I always suggest start with beginner's plants, plants that are easy and tend to take care of themselves. Some examples of beginner's plants would be the spider plant, the snake plant, the peace lily, ivy. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to beginner plants. There's lots of different types of plants that you can try out, but these are some good ones to start with. You can also head to your local greenhouse or nursery and chat with them a little bit about what they would recommend as a beginner's plant. The next important consideration is light and temperature. So this may take you walking through your house and looking at the different areas that would be ideal for indoor plants. You want to look at rooms that have a lot of light or a little light or low light because each plant requires a different amount of light. Also, temperature is very, very important. You want to keep your indoor temperature between 65 to 75 degrees during the day. That's Fahrenheit. And then you don't want to let your temperature to go below 55 degrees Fahrenheit because that could shock your plant and cause it to go into stress. Humidity is also a really important factor when it comes to indoor plants. So you want to check the humidity in your home. If the temperature or the air is too dry, this could be harmful to your plants. So it may take investing in a humidifier to place in your home. You can also do things like group plants together so they can kind of work off of each other. A bathroom is a great place to have indoor plants because usually they're getting the moisture from the hot water from the shower. You can also add pebbles to the top of the soil. This will help retain moisture in the soil so it will mimic humidity even though it may not necessarily be in the air. The next consideration that is vitally important with your indoor plants is watering, and this is something that's very simple, yet it can be messed up very easily. The first step is, of course, checking to see if your plant needs watered, and this is simply done by feeling the soil in the pot. If it's dry, then you need to water. You also don't want to overwater. It's all about balance. You want to give them enough water to saturate the soil and keep it moist, but you don't want to water too much that they're drowning in their own water. When it comes to winter time or colder months, you want to water roughly every 2 weeks, but this will vary depending on the type of plant you get. Usually plants come with directions on how to water as well as the sunlight they require, so it's a good thing also to ask the person that works at your nursery or greenhouse. Usually they're very knowledgeable and they know exactly how to take care of that plant. It's also very important that you water the soil, not the foliage. It's very easy to just take your watering can and pour it right on top of that plant so all the leaves plus the soil get wet. This is actually not healthy for your plant. It's better to keep the foliage as dry as possible because you could introduce diseases to the leaves and the foliage themselves by doing it this way. So make sure when you water that you're putting the water directly into the soil. The last tip for watering I have is make sure you use lukewarm to cool water. You don't want to use extremely cold water, especially in the winter time, because this could shock your roots. You also don't want to use really hot water because that's not good either. The next thing to think about is the size of pot. This is really, really important. If the pot is too big, you run the risk of root rot. If the pot is too small, then the roots can become overcrowded, and this could also be harmful to the overall health of your plant as well. Also, when your plant grows and becomes too big, you may need to transplant it to a bigger pot. I personally have not had very good luck with this. Every time I've done it, the plant has died. So I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong. So I may have to take a trip to my local greenhouse or nursery and ask them, what am I doing wrong? I've had a few successful transplants, but I've had a lot not so successful transplants. But I do know that it is key to change the soil, and you may even need to fertilize when you do a transplant as well, just to give that plant an extra boost under this stressful situation of changing its environment. It's also helpful to give your indoor plants a boost of fertilizer, especially because they're living in the same soil day in and day out. So eventually that soil becomes depleted of nutrients for the plant, and you need to add some in. Now, like I said earlier in the video, it's always good to change out the soil every so often just to help boost the overall health of that plant, but using fertilizer in between can really be helpful, or plant food. Usually it's called one or the other. Plant food is easily used. There's usually directions on the box, or again, you can talk to an expert in the field. There's a lot of benefits to having plants in the home. Not only are they appealing to the eye, and they also give just a fresh look inside the house, especially during the winter months when there's not really a lot going on outside. You just want to provide some extra greenery inside the house. It's also a good way to just bring nature indoors. And the other bonus to having indoor plants is they help purify the air. There's several studies that show that our indoor air is actually more polluted than our outdoor air, and having those indoor plants can help purify the air and make it a cleaner air to breathe in for your family. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can also head over to morningchores.com, where you'll find all kinds of information on homesteading, gardening, DIY, and much, much more. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.